Hello students, welcome back to Excel Academy's YouTube channel. This video is on current affairs. Like all of you are aware, current affairs has been made a part of the CSEET syllabus, and the syllabus which is given to us by ICSI is just an indicative of the news items that we should focus on. The syllabus focuses on the national and international organizations, business leaders, few companies, the national symbols, sports, awards. There are a lot of things which are covered in the syllabus. So we will try to bring to you the important news items which are related to the heads that are covered in the syllabus that is prescribed by ICSI. So let us start with the first news item. This first news item comes from Infy. Now what is Infy all about? Infy is actually the short form of Infosys. Infosys is actually information systems. It's a Indian IT firm, one of the very popular and household names in the country. Now Salil Parekh is the CEO of Infosys. Now this news item says that he has been granted a remuneration, that is a salary of 23 crore rupees for the financial year 2021. So that is what this news item is all about. Now there is one technical thing that we get to learn from this news item. It says that he will be given 13 crore rupees out of this 23 crore rupees in the form of restricted stock option. Now what is restricted stock option? Here an employer will be giving the employee certain shares, and that share value will be considered as a part of his remuneration, that is a salary. Now here 13 crore rupees divided by the price of Infosys share on 2nd May will be divided, that is 13 crores will be divided by the share value of Infosys on 2nd of May, and that many shares will be given to Salil Parekh, and that becomes a part of his salary. Now what's very important for us to remember here is Infosys CEO is Salil Parekh. That's very important for us because he qualifies under the business leaders category. Right, let's go ahead. The second news item comes from the life insurance industry of India. Now we know that before 1955 there were a lot of life insurance companies, and they were all amalgamated by passing the Life Insurance Act in the year 1955, and 1st September 1956 LIC of India was established. Now in 1991-92 Malhotra committee was established, and the Malhotra committee recommended that the life insurance sector should be opened to the private companies. As a result of which today we have around 23 life insurance companies in the country, and IRDA was also established. IRDA stands for Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India. So this apex body was also established as per the recommendations of Malhotra committee. Now since then the private companies along with LIC has been operating in our country and providing the life insurance service to the people. Now how does it work? There are certain things that we have to understand. First one is the insurer. Any insurance company becomes the insurer. For example, LIC is an insurer, or ICICI Prudential is an insurer. Similarly, we have say Birla Sun Life is an insurer. If you and I go and purchase an insurance policy, we become the insured. So what happens here? The insured, that is you and I, will pay the premium when we first buy the insurance policy, and subsequently will be paying the premiums towards our insurance policies to the insurer. So in return the insurer will cover our risk. Suppose something happens to us, our family is assured to get the sum assured. This is in brief or in general how the insurance companies work. Now what is this news item all about? It says that there is 20% growth in the new business premium. It means that say they were collecting 100 rupees in the form of new business premium. So this year it has increased to 120 rupees. It is a good sign because all the premiums that the insurance companies collect, they cannot keep it with themselves. They have to invest it. They will invest on stock markets, they will invest on the bonds, they will also invest on the companies, and sometimes the established companies. All these things will happen. So it basically helps in the creation of capital, which is very important for a country like India, where we have serious deficit of capital formation. So this is a very good sign, and of course socially also it is very important because people and their families are covered. Suppose something happens to the breadwinner of the family will not be deprived of the financial resources at least. So that is the advantage when the life insurance industry of a country grows. It's a good sign that the Indian life insurance industry, especially the new business premium, has grown by 20%. Now in the last paragraph it is also told that if there was no lockdown, if there was no COVID issues, if March was operative, then the industry could have grown at a little higher rate is what is being told. That's fine. That is not under the control of anybody, but it's a good sign that life insurance industry is growing at 20%. The third news item here is about the AGMs. Now what does AGM stand for? It stands for Annual General Body Meeting. Every company at the end of the financial year has to conduct the general body meeting. There are certain things which we have to remember here. The general body should be conducted within 6 months after the conclusion or after the end of the financial year, which is very important. So there are companies whose financial year ends on December 31st. So they were supposed to conduct their AGMs before the end of June because they get 6 months time. Now because of the lockdown and the corona issue and all that, it has been extended till September 30th. That is, companies can conduct their annual general body meetings before September 30th. It will not be viewed as a violation, is what the news item is telling. Suppose a company is conducting its first AGM, then instead of 6 months they get 9 months. As usual, they get 9 months. Now the AGM, the gap between AGMs should not be more than 15 months is what is told in this news bit for us. So this is very important for us. So to summarize this, AGMs are very important. All companies have to conduct the annual general body meetings, and it should be conducted within 6 months of the closure of the financial year. Now in view of lockdown and other things, it has been extended by another 3 months. That is this news bit all about. Right, let's go to the next news bit. Here, this is little negative in nature. Now what is this? It is telling that 25,800 crore investments at risk as Franklin Templeton shutters 6 debt schemes. Now what is this all about? This is in fact the headlines of many newspapers today. Now if you see, Franklin Templeton is one of the AMCs in the country. It is the 9th largest mutual fund company of the country. Now what has happened? Before going to that, let us understand some broad classification of mutual funds. Mutual fund is of course an investment product that is available to us. We can invest our money in it. Now what happens? There are 3 types of mutual funds very broadly, if we have to classify. The first one is debt, that is all the investors' money will go on bonds. It may be government bond, it may be corporate bond, whatever it is a debt instrument, money goes there. Second one is stock. It is generally called ELSS and all that. ELSS stands for equity linked savings scheme, where the invested money goes to the share market. And the last one is the balanced fund, which is a combination of debt and the equity fund. So this is a broad classification of mutual funds. So Franklin Templeton has got a lot of funds. So out of a lot of funds that they have, 6 funds which were in the debt category has been closed. It means that it will not continue to take investments, and the money which is invested in that cannot be redeemed by the investors. It means that the money is blocked at this moment. Now the company has assured that they would be liquidating their assets and they would be paying the investors their money. But as of today, as it stands, it is not a great news because everything has been freezed. So that is the news that is coming from Franklin Templeton. Okay, let's go to the next news item. This comes from SAIL. What does SAIL stand for? It stands for Steel Authority of India. It is one of the largest PSUs, that is the public sector units. It means that it is owned by Government of India. Now it is telling that the news bit says that there is 2 million tons of inventory. It is that they have produced that much of iron and steel and all that, and they have piled it, and there is no purchase order coming from anybody. Now for the steel to sell, for the iron to sell, it is the automobile and engineering industries which should start functioning, and they should keep ordering for the steel. But the CEO of SAIL says that although it will take time for the automobile and the engineering industries to send orders to them. They are hopeful that the infrastructure industry will start booming as soon as the lockdown and all those things are relaxed, and they expect new orders to come from infrastructure, and that is the positivity the CEO of the company is showing. So this is the news that is coming from SAIL. SAIL stands for Steel Authority of India. This is one of the biggest PSUs. It's nice to follow the news that comes from SAIL. Right, let's go ahead. The next news, one of the biggest news today, is Facebook investing a huge amount of money in Reliance Jio. Now, what is this all about? Now, before we get into the news, let us first understand where do these companies actually stand. You should be knowing that WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. So, Facebook in India, according to the internet search, has around 26 crore active users. There are different figures that are there. There are few websites which tell that it is around 38 crores. Anyway, we'll take the lowest. It is around 26 crore active users. WhatsApp has around 40 crore active users in the country. Both for Facebook as well as for WhatsApp, India is one of the biggest markets. Right, there are countries whose population is not 26 crores and 40 crores. So you can imagine the size of market these two companies have got, or Facebook has got, in our country. Jio has around 37-38 crore users. It says around 37 million users are there. That roughly translates to 37-38 crore users are there. So these companies have huge customer base and they have come together. Now, how have they come together? Facebook has purchased 9.9%, that is almost 10% stake in Jio, and they have invested 43,574 crore rupees, 43574 followed by 7 zeros. That is the amount of money Facebook has invested on Jio. Now, what is it that they plan to do? The idea is all the small businesses through WhatsApp, they want to connect, and they want to connect them with the customers. That's the whole idea. So customers using WhatsApp can order goods and services that they want from small businesses. According to an estimate, there are some 120 million small businesses which operate in the country. Through WhatsApp, if money transfer can also happen and Jio can support it, then all these customers can be brought together and they can create synergy. That's the whole idea behind this investment. So this is a big news coming with respect to Facebook investment. Now the next part of this is, now who is worried? Paytm is worried. Now why is Paytm worried about this? Because Paytm was one of the first companies to introduce the money transfer and all those things, which became a household name in our country. Later on came Google Pay, then came Phone Pay. There are a lot of others who are providing. You have Jio Money, Airtel Money, Ola Money. There are a lot of digital money that is being transacted in the country. But the first place, according to this news bit, is held by Google Pay. Second is by Phone Pay, and Paytm was in the third position. With WhatsApp and Facebook and Jio entering this segment, it is a bad news. It's rough time for Paytm, is what this news bit is telling us. Anyway, let's go to the last news bit. Now, if you have gone through your current affairs syllabus in your book, there is the mention of NCLT. Now, NCLT stands for the National Company Law Tribunal. Now, what is this? What is the objective, or what is the function of this tribunal? They mostly listen. It's a quasi judicial body which listens to the issues related to the companies. Now, what is this news all about is Delhi Gymkhana. Delhi Gymkhana is one of the oldest clubs in the country. I did a quick surfing on the website, and it says that this Delhi Gymkhana was earlier called Imperial Delhi Gymkhana Club, which was registered sometime in 1900, and it is functioning from 1913. History is not found, but it is active. Active history of that is written from 1927 onwards. It is one of the elite clubs in the country. They have a lot of sporting activities, library, lounge, restaurants, everything. It is one of the premium clubs that you find in the country. Now, what is the news that is related to that? Government of India has filed a complaint in NCLT telling that Delhi Gymkhana is being operated in an oppressive and prejudicial way, which is against the public interest, and government has asked why government shouldn't take over the management of Delhi Gymkhana. So that's the whole case now. Now NCLT has directed Delhi Gymkhana to reply to the government's allegation. So who has done this allegation? It is through the Corporate Affairs Ministry, and the Gymkhana Club has asked for time because they tell that the notice issued is around 5,000 pages. So they need time to go through, understand, and then get back. So this is the news that is coming from Delhi Gymkhana, Corporate Affairs, and most important for us is NCLT, because NCLT is a part of our current affairs syllabus. Hope this video was some help to you. Please leave your comments in the comment section. We shall get back to you with right answers or answering your queries. We shall come back to you with more such videos in the days to come. Thank you so much.